Alrighty. Hello, everybody. Slightly different. Not streaming this one. Unfortunately, I had a bunch of meetings today, so I was not able to find the time to stream, but I am recording it anyway, because I promised I would. Mike is here to keep me company.
Hello.
Today's creature is the Kelpie. I was a little hesitant to add this one to the list. It was really just out of necessity that I decided to, because this is closer to a legendary creature, a supernatural creature, than a cryptid. And really, I guess the only difference between the two is how long this myth's been around and how different it all is. But, you know, that's okay. Kelpie, it's Scottish folklore is usually where you find stories about it, although there are some people who still say they see them today. So, but its name actually comes from, let's see. Well, there was a line here about where its name came from because it wasn't originally Scottish, but okay. Whatever. It's fine. Usually...
It has been deleted.
It has been removed.
I don't want you to know the truth.
I know. Let's see. The first time it was mentioned is in a manuscript from around 1750-something. Let's see. It's been depicted in several paintings, although in some paintings it's depicted as a person and not a horse. The most common way that the Kelpie is seen is that it transforms into a horse, which is why, thank you, Car, which is why my primary reference for this is a horse. And I looked up some artwork of Kelpie for inspiration, so here's one. But what it's supposed to do is it is supposed to transform into a horse and coax an individual to come and ride it. I assume by looking very pretty. When a person makes contact with the horse and hops up on its back, they find that they are stuck to it like glue, and then the horse goes galloping off into the water and drowns the person because it's an asshole. It doesn't say why they do it, it's just that they do. So, in this case, this is more a magic kind of creature than a cryptid, but I still think the Kelpie is cool. It is a favored mythological creature of mine, so. It's funny that when you look at pictures of it, the horse Kelpie, and not like, I guess, a person Kelpie, they often look...
Wait, does the person Kelpie want you to ride them?
I guess they would take your hand and lure you into the water, but then they turn into like... But then that's more like the rusalka, which is a drowned... It's basically the Russian version of a mermaid, except they don't have fish legs. But they're a... They look like a pretty lady, and they try to coax men and children to take their hand and follow them into the water. So I guess if the Kelpie looked like a human and not a horse, they'd take your hand, and your hand would be stuck to them, and they'd drag you into the water. So the horse is more fun to think about, I think. So, I'm gonna draw us a horse, and then a cuter version of the horse, as I have been doing. But that is a good good question. It's like, so... Is it just a human or a horse, or can the Kelpie turn into other stuff? If you like see a horse and are like, oh, I don't like horses, will they come back as like a cow? And be like, can I get this person to touch my flank and pet me as a cow so I can take them off into the water?
Well, I just had an image in my head of just like some random person just being like, get on my back.
Like a person with like a saddle on their back, they're like, hey, on! And you're like, what? You want a piggyback ride? No. No, I don't. I do not. You're weird. Damn it, I knew I should have been a horse. What'd you say? Nothing. Nothing, it's fine. Nothing. Hey, look over there. And then they jump back in the water. I guess it's if we wanted to apply modern day logic to it and pretend that the Kelpie is a real creature, then perhaps it would be a case of like, oh, well, people are less likely to call the police on a horse. They'll definitely call the police on a person trying to get you to hop on their back and go for a ride into the moor, I mean, at least I would call the police on a person like that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe somebody would be like, golden opportunity. Excellent. I've always wanted to go on a piggyback ride adventure. So, some of the myths say that when they take people into the water, they just drown them and then look for someone else, which I guess is like the spirit aspect. But like the more living creature aspect is some people are like, oh, it takes you into the water to eat you. So, I'm not super good at drawing horses, but that's okay because I want this horse to look kind of not right. Not like a good horse, like a kind of uncanny valley horse.
So you're saying that you weren't one of those girls in like grade school that drew nothing but horses?
I was not a horse girl, no. You know what I drew tons of? I mean, besides Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I drew wolves. I liked drawing wolves. I actually tried to make a point for a long time not to draw people, and I don't remember what my logic was, but I didn't want to draw people.
His hands are hard.
Funnily enough, I find them to be not terribly difficult. But I think that is because I took, like, one day I was like, you know what I need to do? I need to draw hands because I can't keep hiding them behind people.
Feet.
Feet are a nuisance. Especially if it's, like, from a weird angle, Yeah. Because I can twist a hand to do things, but a foot has to be on the ground.
It doesn't have to be on the ground.
I mean, if it's supporting your... Yeah, well... And then, of course...
It could be up in the air.
And then, of course...
Something.
That's true. Grab something with my foot.
Did I ever tell you about this time? Completely unrelated to cryptids.
No, go ahead. Tell us this magical foot-related story, as I assume that is what it is about.
It's not exactly, like, a crazy story or anything, but when I was, I think it was in 2nd or 3rd grade. I don't remember. I was, our school was doing this little, like, fundraising thing. And the school did it as, like, a big party.
Mm-hmm.
And, we, I forget exactly what it was. I think we had to grab, like, coins out of a swimming pool, like one of those inflatable ones.
Mm-hmm.
And the water was filled with ice cubes.
Oh.
And as you know, and maybe some of our audience, I don't know if they've ever seen my feet, but
I mean, if they have, I'm wondering when exactly that happened. But go on.
I don't know. Who knows?
Go on.
As you know, Alex, I have like toes that seem to be made for gripping things.
Monkey feet.
I do got some monkey feet. So I was just scooping coins out of the water, like no problem.
Nice.
Everyone else had kind of like chubby bean toes.
As many children often do.
Yeah. So they were all being left in the friggin' dust.
Screw you, Timmy.
I guess to bring it back to the discussion of cryptids. Am I a cryptid?
I mean,
really long finger-like toes.
Well, I mean, I guess in this case, the difference between you being like a cryptid or a mutant would be, do you randomly wander around at night and get caught very briefly and blurrily on cameras? And are people struggling to prove your existence?
I guess I wouldn't know, because I wouldn't know if a blurry picture is a picture of me wandering around at night or somebody else wandering around at night.
But that's not a no, I do not wander around at night. So, perhaps...
No, it was not a denial, of course.
It's not an admission nor a denial.
You ever get like just the desire to go to like walk to a store or something in the middle of the night?
Yes, actually. Does this mean we're both
Binge.
cryptids?
We're both cryptids,
Ah,
I think
shit.
is the conclusion here.
I have told people repeatedly the joys of a 3 a.m. shopping run for groceries at a 24-hour grocery store.
I feel like it's during those situations, though, you have to travel as a group, or else somebody might record you as a cryptid.
Be like, what is this weird fucking dude that's
Wait,
out
are
here?
you gonna draw this thing as a person?
Like, on its hind legs?
Yeah,
I was gonna draw it, like, rearing up.
Oh, okay, I see what you're doing now. At first, I thought you were going to draw it like some people draw those swole kangaroos.
Like it was gonna have, like hands and shit, and just be like, oh. Well,
like
hi.
It was flexing its pecs, like, look how muscly I am.
Actually, that random sketch I did was actually a pretty dynamic pose. Bring that back. Bring that back, me. Bring that back. We're gonna use that.
Oh,
I love
that S.
Yeah, that S curve, but for horse. I love when I accidentally a good pose. It always happens whenever you're like fucking around and not trying to like actually. Okay, horses' limbs are funky. So they've got their shoulder blade up here. And the socket, I think it's short. I need a horse skeleton. I need a skeleton of a horse.
Fetch me horse skeleton.
Horse skeleton. I need to see the legs. Show me. Show me this Oh. Oh, that's an upset. I didn't realize their legs went that way. Well, I have learned. And it has been brought to my attention that horse legs bend backward. And then forward again. And they're very tiny, the bones. They have so many joints, these horse. All right.
That's from what I understand, that's why it's virtually impossible to help a horse recover from a broken bone.
Oh, yeah,
because
if they
chances
break a
are
bone,
it's dozens of broken bones.
So this is a skeleton of a horse. They got a big ol' hump, but their leg, as you can see, they have their shoulder blade here, and then this joint for what would be forearm, and then arm, and then I guess wrist, and then wrist number 2 into toes. Because this bone is toe. So this joint is their wrist, and that is fingy.
Nice.
All right, horse on toe. Got it.
They're
Cool.
not going to be grabbing coins out of a...
No.
No.
No, they won't. Sadly, their toes have become a singular toe. As one does. All right. So, arm go back, and then forward, and then down, and then toe. And then hoof. Horse acquired. Horse begin to become horse. Excellent. And then the back legs. God, how many... Look at these joints. Look at this horrible zigzag. It's like an M. Oh my gosh. And then this part just sticks up the back. And the joint's actually over here. Oh, what have we done to them?
Well, I don't think it's
Or what did evolution do to this horse? I feel like maybe we made it worse. A horse is a very...
I don't think we've interacted with horses long enough
to be the reason that they're not having a good time.
Yeah, honestly, I just suspect they were always not having a good time.
Yeah, a horse is a very interesting creature in that Oh, I have a better... This skeleton is a rearing horse. Let me click on that one. Show me. Ah, this is what they look like when they pop up on their hinders. I'm bending the body the wrong way. If I want it to be going like that, I have to flip the pelvis the other way. I see. But, so, horses are like a very specific kind of animal. Like, they are fine-tuned, and if you upset that balance in any way, they die.
True.
Immediately. Like, it's
in
like...
many ways, I am the same.
I feel like, well, I don't know. I feel like more of those things might apply to me, based on how picky I am about food.
This is true.
Because if you feed a horse the wrong thing, they'll die. If you feed them too much of the right thing, they'll bloat and they'll die. If you feed them too little of the right thing, they'll starve and die. If you trim their toenails too often, their feet will hurt and they'll die. If you don't, their feet hoofies will grow into themselves and they'll die. And so yeah, they run too much, they die. They run too little, they die. They lay down for too long, they'll die. I'm not entirely sure what nature was thinking when they designed the horse.
Yeah, what was nature thinking?
How did it live long enough? Well, I guess
we need to contact nature at some point and ask them.
And be like, what the fuck is with this? You already fucked it up enough when you made humans and gave us anxiety. What is this horse? Now I've kind of made a human horse. I don't like this anymore. It's turning into a person. No. No. No, no, no. No, no, no. 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 Back the other way. Back the other way and become a horse again. There you go. There is a horse butt. Butt for a horse. The horse is now horse-shaped again. Good lord.
So I guess my question is how is this going to look not like a horse though? Because it can't just look like a horse.
Well, if we were going strictly by the myth, it would just look like a horse.
That's pretty lame. We gotta spruce it up a little bit.
Yeah, we have to fancy up this horse. And I was thinking of putting
teeth where they don't belong.
I mean, if we were going to do that, I'd put them on the feet. I was thinking of scales. Belying its watery nature. Yeah, like fish scales. Put fish scales on this horse.
How about making the ears look a little bit fish-like?
Oh, like fins.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Giving it some fish eyes, maybe?
A black fathomless pit is always good.
But of course.
It's always good. Always a good idea. When you're like, how can I make my creature creepier? Take its eyes away. That's actually a good rule of thumb for any humanoid creature. Take its eyes, take its face.
Well, it's not just a black void. Around the rim of the black void is typically something that looks similar to their scales. Right?
You're right.
Like, because fish can have color in their eyes.
This is true.
Because I've seen fish with blue eyes before.
I need a fish.
And gold eyes. Just type fish eye.
Fish eye. Whoops.
You'll go get like some really high res.
Fish eye Sailor Moon? What in the hell is that? What is this search that it is telling me I can have? Okay. Really? Fish eye Sailor Moon. I'm gonna see what that is. Oh! Oh, that was her name in the original. okay. In Sailor Moon Crystal, there was a character who I forget what her name is in the English version, but her name is actually Fisheye in the Japanese.
Fisheye in English sounds like it would be the name of like a pirate villain in One Piece.
I will link you what Fisheye actually looks like and you will be disappointed! Or maybe her name really was Fisheye, because they were all named after, like, rocks or something. They were all named something Eye, and one of them was called Tiger Eye, but here she is. This is Fisheye. Or he. Is Fisheye a guy or a girl? Let's look that up. And the reason I ask is because the English anime, really not good. Yeah, Hawkeye, Tiger Eye, and Zirconia are the other... Oh, yep, it's a boy. That is a man. In the English, they made him a lady. Puzzle solved. Mystery retrieved.
I wonder why that is.
Well, this was the character I was telling you yesterday that the English dub made a lot of questionable decisions. Like making Sailor Uranus and Neptune cousins instead of lesbians. Because we can't have that. But then there was a character commenting on a grade school kid about how they were going to, like, you know, go out with him. And do other concerning things. That was Fisheye.
Real solid.
Real solid decision there, dub. I mean, they were supposed to be creepy and unpleasant in the original Japanese, hence why the siblings are, like, looking at him all weird, like, ew. But the English dub made it so much worse. Because they were commenting on it like it was just weird because he was young. And not weird because that's illegal. And stop it. Alright. Back to me looking at fishes. And not this creepy person. Let's look back at fish. There we go. Fish fin. Fish fin. Close up of fin. I see fin. Alright, cool. Let's make these ears more fin-like. I want to kind of disguise them as regular horse ears, but if you look closely at them, you will see that they're actually fins. How's that, Mike? These fin ears. Pretending to be actual ears. More. We can put gills on the horse.
Ooh, yeah, I think that would be better. That'll be better.
Gills on horse?
Do it!
Do it! Gill on horse. I'm gonna try and, like, hide some of these in, like, such a way that you, might
it
not
ambushes
notice.
you in the dead of night, right?
I think there's some reports of them coming out during the day, but yeah. It's like, oops. Oh, I didn't actually draw that on the horse's neck. I drew it on its flank. Its neck is over here. Its neck is here. So this should be like this. There we go. Horsegill. This is my friend Horsegill. He raises horses. Should give it, like, seaweed hair. Like water plants in its hair. It spends its
barnacles on its underside.
Yeah, we can put some barnacles on the underbelly of this horse.
So the question is how does it exactly drown the person? Like
by swimming down under the water.
it goes into the water
Yes.
and runs on the underside.
Yeah, I guess it sinks, like, it's supposed to come out of, like, deep bodies of water, like a lake, and it catches a person and just walks into the water and dives beneath the surface, and the person can't unstick themselves, so they drown.
Yeah, but my question is, does it walk on the bottom of the ocean or whatever,
Or the
or
lake?
whatever?
I mean, I guess.
Or does it swim? Because have you ever seen a horse swim?
I have indeed seen horses swim, and they swim a little silly. They swim like they're about to die. They swim like they are in great distress.
I feel like we also need to speculate as to what people actually saw.
So what they actually saw. There's a few things they could have seen. It could have been a freshwater otter that wasn't, I mean, it was big. I mean,
Freshwater otter, like, came up to a person and was like, hey, ride me.
No, I mean, in all honesty, I don't think that people actually got on anything and rode anything. I think people were drunk and fell into the water. And I think that
that's significantly less interesting.
I know! It's just, I mean, if I have to tell you, if I have to look at you and go, okay, so the way that a lot of people died in this particular time, in this particular area of the world, getting drunk and falling in the bog is a common thing. This thing's shoulder is weird. Here we go. Some people draw it with having, like, a fish tail, but I don't think it could get you. I think you'd notice that the horse was only, dragging its ass along the ground, and it was like, hop on my back! I am majestic! You'd be like, hey, bro, what's wrong with you? Nothing! Oh, his back legs are broken. I guess we have to shoot him now. Wait, hold on a second! Bang. And thus the Kelpie was defeated.
So
there's some...
like a form of vengeance.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're supposed to be like water spirits, so I guess when they're not horses, they just are water? I mean, I've seen them depicted with like fish feet. I've seen them just straight up be soggy horses. And today, for the first time, I've seen them depicted as, like, naked ladies sitting on a rock. But I feel like that's a lot of other things and not specific to the Kelpie. I'd think that would just be, like, a siren, you know?
I mean, there are all sorts of theories as to what people were actually seeing regarding, like, mermaids and stuff.
The manatee.
What a sexy beast.
I mean, if you were Christopher Columbus, it sure was.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're pretty sure. Fellow Americans and other international people, we are pretty sure, according to some of his journals, that, yeah. That he may have, Yeah. I mean, they'd been on the ocean for a long time, and everybody was delusional from scurvy, so...
Let's not try to make sense of it.
Yeah, let's not try to make it any better. Okay. So I think that if you looked close enough, that the Kelpie would have scales like a fish. All down its limbs. Maybe even in, like, little patchy places. Man, when I draw this as a chibi, it's gonna be like a fucking My Little Pony, but, like, evil.
Well, given what we've theorized about My Little Pony.
My Little Puh?
My Little Pony.
Yeah, I mean, if you really think about it...
Evil settles right in there.
Yeah, if you think about the lore, or just the logistics of how that world has to work for any amount of time, you can create a horrible dystopian land. Two siblings that control whether or not there's night and day, huh? If one of them gets mad and has a little hissy fit, you can't do anything about it if she decides to blow you up, huh? A princess of friendship that makes you be friends. Sounds a little sinister to me.
Yeah. They determine what everybody's purpose is in life.
Yeah, if you get a butt tattoo and you don't like what it dictates, too bad. That's your job. I think that got brought up in like precisely one episode with the kids, and then never got brought up again. And it wasn't answered either, I don't think.
Because it's one of those things where if you dissect it too hard, you start to realize how kind of messed up it is.
Yeah, I think one of them, it was probably Apple Bloom, asked, because she was the one who was always concerned about things. I think she's like, well, what if the cutie mark I get isn't something I like doing, but it happens to be my special talent? And they were like, oh, don't worry about it. And then they never gave her, like, an actual answer.
Yeah, they're like, that doesn't happen. And I'm like, but...
How do you know that?
But I'm pretty sure it does.
Yeah. And then, of course, there are some butt tattoos that don't make any sense. Like, what's the kid with the snail on his booty? What's he supposed to do? What's his talent? Is it just because his name is Snails? Because it is. His name is Snails. Come on, body of horse, please behave.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you really shouldn't think about too hard.
What does Diamond Tiara's butt tattoo mean she's going to do for a living? I ask you. Tell me in the comments below, what kind of job will she have? What is her gift? Her gift is that she can tell people what to do, by the way.
I know.
Which then just became managerial proceedings in an episode. So I guess she's gonna be a manager.
Middle management, of course.
When the Karen wants to speak to the manager, it will be her. And she'll face off a Karen of her own, and then the world will detonate.
My weird.
Man, what the heck? What the heck is Snips's power? His butt mark is just like, I think it's dog tails. Because it's not hair clippings. So it's not like he's a barber. I know that they're a joke on, like, snip snails, puppy dog tails, that's what little boys are made of, but what is a snip? And what does this mean for his future? This horse looks like it is sneaking to get something out of the fridge at 3 a.m. and is hoping no one will notice. Tiptoe. I wanted him to look like he was rearing up and jaunting, but you know what? He doesn't anymore, and that's fine. It's okay. If there were lots more time, then I would worry a bit more about the posing of the horse, but for now, he doesn't have to be anything spectacular, he just has to be weird. And he is now quite weird. I'm pretty sure his chest is all wrong too, but you know what? Whatever. He's got a fancy mane. Some weird waterloggedness. Another piece of kelp just hanging off of it. Like Kelpie. I should put a skeleton on it. Like a skeleton stuck partially inside the Kelpie.
Inside the Kelpie.
Yeah. Kind of like that bear in Annihilation. The super cool bear.
Yeah.
That bear was amazing.
Annihilation, a complex story about why, if anything weird happens in Italy, you should just leave it the hell alone. I'm pretty sure it was.
No, it takes place off the coast of Florida! It doesn't
Florida is basically America's Italy.
You know, I half expected when I said, wait a minute, it doesn't take place in Italy, for you to go, I know. But my point still stands.
Well, I will rephrase them. If anything weird happens in Florida, don't fuck with it.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that is a good piece of advice considering all the weird news that comes out of Florida.
True.
Like the gunfight at the Chuck E. Cheese. Or the guy who ran out of gas and got arrested because he had an outstanding warrant, but his car ran out of fuel right in front of the sheriff's office. Stellar. Absolutely stellar. Ooh, skeletal hand sticking out of horse. What you don't know is the horse is secretly made of water. Or whatever hydro slimes are made of in Genshin, it's made of that.
What are hydro slimes?
Made of hydro.
Aren't we all?
70%?
Yep.
70% hydro. I have to say, to break the magic for just a moment, Mikey, I love when the two of us are like, you know what, nothing's really happening, but we need to chit-chat to fill up some time, and we just start talking about the most bizarre crap. I love it. It
I
pleases
feel like
me
everything
greatly.
we talk about has purpose.
Yeah, that's true. Even if that purpose is just to confuse somebody. I enjoy our chats. I don't know why I hesitated to say the word chat.
So.
I quite enjoy our talks, even if they are about nothing in particular. Alright, now that we have a human stuck inside this horse. Yes. The horse is like, you weren't supposed to see that. Don't worry. I'm just gonna tuck this and push this back inside my flank. Don't worry about it. You don't gotta worry at all. It's normal for that to be there. I'm putting fins on the leg. Water horse. Water horse. Dumpy, doggy tail, water horse. I don't know why that was the Spider-Man song, but whatever. Okay. Need to put more scales on him. His drawing looks like I gave up halfway down the horse. I promise it would be better. It just looks really weird. But I kind of like it. I'm
fine with it.
I kind of like this derp horse. It's like, oh. It's a little bit like the, It's a little bit like the big drawing of the Jersey Devil from yesterday, where he actually looks a little bit alarmed. Looks like he's confused. He's like, oh! Like I said yesterday, the way I drew him, because his arms are so tiny, is he looks like he should be holding a small bath towel, being like, oh no! You've walked in on me! Oh my god!
Oh dear! Oh my!
Hey, you're so rude! I just finished a busy day of being stuck up on a telephone pole, and I was going to take a nice hot shower, and now you're here! Ooh. Here we go. Come on. There we go. Or not. There you are. The references can be turned off. Or not. My computer doesn't like that I'm trying to turn off the references. Please. Thank you. This should not have been that difficult. Okay, horse Kelpie. Do you think it needs anything else? I feel like the gist of this thing is done.
No, I think it looks. I still think. Barnacles on the underside. I still think
Barnacles
would
on
be
the other
good.
side? Okay.
On the underside, yeah, right on the look. And have them like building up a little bit, like it's gross.
It's like, oh, you should have looked on the underside of the horse before you got on the horse.
Yeah, idiot. Like, come on, stop drinking so much and pay attention.
There's a sea anemone coming out of my left pectoral. How did you not see that? We're in a lake. That should have cued you in. I am a sentient piece of the seafloor that rose up and became a horse, and here we are. Oh, that just makes it look nasty. Excellent.
I mean, it is a cryptid.
Yep. So we have the barnacles upon the tongue. So were you looking up earlier, like what people thought they were, like what people are like, oh, this is what they were actually seeing? Do you have insights on that for us?
Oh, no, I don't.
Oh.
I was genuinely asking.
Oh. Because you said, oh, there's lots of things people thought they saw.
Oh.
So I thought that you had...
I thought you meant, I think, like, regarding mermaids. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Regarding mermaids, yes. There's a lot of things people thought they saw. I mean, in all actuality, I think the people got drunk and fell in the water. I think if they saw anything, they might have seen a horse. But I don't think that it was a case of, like, something lured them into the water. I think they saw something, chased it, fell in the water. Or, like, they were drunk riding home on their horse, and they got their hand caught in, like, the saddle or the reins or something, and they were like, I was stuck to it and I couldn't get it off. Or maybe they stole someone's horse, and they were like, why will the horse not be horse? Tim stole a horse and rode it straight into the pond.
To the real truth, which is that it was just a social experiment gone wrong. I was gonna say prank, but then I was like, no, let's date it. Let's date it harder.
Date it even harder. All right, cool. All right, let's do the tiny version of the Kelpie. I want to make it look like an angry little My Little Pony. Let me look up a My Little Pony for the general gist of how they horse. My Little Pony. Show me horse on search screen. Oh, that's the new one where everything is weird. Weird and wrong. My Little Pony New Generation, which is a sequel, but not a sequel. Because it sure doesn't behave like a sequel. Because it certainly implies that something terrible happened and the world was plunged into absolute destruction. Which then again, that might have been a cool movie. I did not know that horses had a spinal ridge like the one on the skeleton, by the way.
I didn't either, if I'm being honest.
I did
But it
not know
makes sense, I
they
guess.
had the big old humpa de hump.
It almost looks like a fin in of itself.
Right? It does kind of look like a fin. Should we retroactively give it a fin? Do you think it needs a back fin?
I don't see why not.
Back fin.
Protrudes up through the mane.
And then goes along part of the spine. Yeah, there we go. This small horse looks very unhappy. It's like, who the hell are you? Why are you here? I wasn't doing anything. Don't worry about it. It's totally fine. That's not a dead person on my back. It's nothing. What is this thing? Well, if nothing else, the My Little Pony design definitely knows how to simplify a horse. Which isn't a sentence I would normally say, but it is a sentence that I feel is important.
Wasn't it animated by the same
Whoa.
person who animated Powerpuff Girls?
Why did it zoom into 1000%? What happened? Stop. Jesus. I'm trying to remember if it was. I don't know. I think the person who initially wrote it, his name was Jennifer, but that doesn't really help in any way, does it? The animation for it wasn't too bad, all things considered.
I seem to remember something about Powerpuff Girls.
I mean, I know the Powerpuff Girls got a reboot that nobody liked because it was creepy and bad.
The former animator and director for the first 2 seasons of My Little Pony, they were a writer, storyboard artist, and animator for the Powerpuff Girls.
Oh, I see.
Also, they worked on Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
The animation style definitely reminded me of Foster's.
And also Samurai Jack. So the person was a very skilled animator.
No kidding.
Dexter's Lab, Adventure Time, Gravity Falls. Actually, they were a supervising director for Gravity Falls.
Gravity Falls is such a good show.
It is. And was the creator of My Life as a Teenage Robot, which I remember watching when I was a kid, but I don't remember anything about it.
I remember some stuff. At least I remember enough to understand why it has become kind of a oh gosh, has been kind of seen as strong representation by the trans community.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Yeah, because the show was about how she wanted to just be a normal human girl, and was constantly being told by a lot of people, including her mom, that she couldn't. And that there was lots of, like, how she wanted to change certain things about her body, certain essential things, but couldn't, because that just isn't how her body worked. So I can see it. Especially given the lack of, like, any other good representation from that time, anyway. This thing really looks like a haunting My Little Pony.
My Little Pony.
It's like, hey man, what's up?
What's the beauty mark?
The skeleton.
Or not beauty mark, but booty mark.
the booty mark. Yeah, the skeleton.
Well, that's what you started calling it. So
I know, they called it the butt mark. Because I couldn't remember the name of it. Cutie mark, that's what it is.
Yeah, the beauty mark, the booty mark.
Your flank stamp.
That is basically what it is.
I mean, it kind of really is. I have consumed this human, and you shall not take him from me. Wow. According to this recording, we've only been going for an hour? I thought for sure we'd have been going longer. It feels a lot longer. Spooky.
Maybe that's the true power of the Kelpie.
Maybe that's why this is lagging. It might be running out of space. I think I will see to that in just a moment. See if it really is an hour. These are going to end up looking like eyes, but that may actually be a good thing. Put some barnacle eyes on the belly of this horse. Alright, give me a second, because I'm going to see. Now the recording time went down. What? Alright, hold on a second. I'm going to figure out what's going on here. Alrighty then, cool. let's clean up this drawing. Since it's okay for the other one to be scribbly, but I'd like this one to be a little neater, you know?
No.
Oh, well.
I do not know.
This is 100% a horse with a terrible secret that does not want you to know. It's an incredibly embarrassing secret.
Its secret is that it drowns people.
Well, I mean, yeah, but it could also be an embarrassing secret.
That's pretty embarrassing.
Murder is embarrassing.
Yeah, pretty lame.
Yeah, you know what? Not wrong.
I'll be the brave one here. My hot take is that murder is uncool.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Very uncool.
You know what would be cool?
What?
Is if somebody watching is one of those people who likes to redesign like toys like My Little Ponies and Furbies and things and decided to make this Kelpie. That's not me asking for someone to do that, although I would not say no if you did. I say it as a person who in college did have a My Little Pony party with other people. We did it once. We made a bunch of cool stuff, and then we never did it again. It's just too bad. But I think it was because we discovered that My Little Ponies are actually quite expensive. And we were like, this is probably bad. I have to like spend a ton of money on this all the time. Yeah, this lo-fi music is nice, but it really makes me want to take a nap.
That is the effect of lo-fi.
It is making me sleepy. Maybe that's what I should put on when I have insomnia. Just pop on some lo-fi. Of course, with my luck, he'll just make the insomnia worse. Because I'm the kind of person that will sleep through familiar noises like rain, thunder, cars going by. But if a person whispers in another room, I fucking wake up immediately. It's such a nuisance.
Sorry, I am currently scaling stormtrooper corpses.
I know what the context for that is, but I'm begging you not to share it with the audience. I want them to
I
guess.
intend not to.
I want them to be guessing forever as to what the hell that even meant. I'm glad that thus far this channel that I have found has not given me any copyright strikes. Cause, oh boy. Both YouTube and Twitch not happy when that occurs. And the problem is that, like, sometimes you can tell, like, they say, oh, it's, you know, it's all free music. But then sometimes it definitely isn't. But considering that this is, like, a radio station, as a matter of fact, it's got links on it that are like, oh, you can listen to this on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever. And that tells me that, at least I'm hoping that that means it's okay. Because they would have to be able to play it on all of those things.
Well, they have the right to play it on all of those things. You didn't pay for the right to do that.
But I'm not making money off of this. Nobody's paying me
Doesn't
anything.
mean anything. You don't have to pay, like, making money off of something is not a requirement for copyright violation.
Now you've got me all nervous.
No, don't use copyrighted music.
I mean, I don't think it's copyright music.
What is the source?
The source is a radio station on YouTube. Lo-fi hip-hop radio beats to study and relax to. It started...
Some of that stuff is copyrighted.
It started streaming in 2020. I mean, I guess I can find out immediately if I look at my Twitch, because I played it last night. So let's see. Did Twitch get mad at me? I think that Twitch pops up an alert immediately where it's like, hey, fix your shit. Let's see. Nope, none. There are none, so it's all good. Hooray. Thank goodness. Then again, maybe that... I don't know. Maybe it'll change. Maybe YouTube will yell at me because we haven't been talking consistently the whole time. And more than 20 seconds of audio have played. Ooh. I don't know, I'll find out, and if it gets mad at me, then I just won't use it again. I'll find something else.
That's all you can do?
Yep. Go find video game music playlist. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm starting to get a headache from the rain. I hope I finish this before it becomes a problem. Little bone fingies. Little bone fingies. There we go. There we go. Getting close to the end. And then I'll take care of the coloring in post like I've been doing. There we go. Now we just need the tail.
What an insane MLP.
OC, do not steal. This is Kelpie, aka Kelly. She likes long walks on the beach and murder.
Which, as we've discussed, is very uncool.
But she's really cool. She's best friends with Rainbow Dash. She hates Fluttershy because she's not cool.
She hates Fluttershy because they have intense disagreements on their moral systems.
Yeah.
Fluttershy's a utilitarian, but Kelly is a deontologist.
I actually don't know what that second one is.
Deontology is a type of moral or ethical system.
What is it based upon?
Complicated.
Oh, it's not something that it can be like, oh, the gist of it is this.
It's kind of centered around like the concept of like like, well, it's different. The problem is it's different for every person, because the problem with deontology is that it's like some kind of like principled standing so you know, in philosophy there's the idea that there's like the thoughts that exist in like the thought realm, and then there's the real world.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
The problem with deontology is that all of deontology is centered around duty and what is quote unquote right and wrong, which that can be
different for every person.
By, like, anything. Like it's so originally deontology comes from Kantism. So Immanuel Kant being a person who kind of let religion and philosophy mix. So for him, it was typically things that were Christian or like in like the good that is defined by God, or like a deist sort of thing.
How big is this supposed to be?
It's just very vague, because it's difficult to nail it down for a broad group of people, because everyone's going to disagree on what duty and obligation and all these things are.
Okay.
Whereas it's basically the opposite of consequentialism, which is what a lot of ethics are based off of, which is what are the outcomes? Like, what is an action? What is the result of an action?
Oh, this is just like, no, it's an innate concept you should all know. And thus act accordingly.
It's difficult to explain without referencing other philosophical systems.
I see. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing what little can be shared. Based on how absurdly complex that is.
I'm also strongly biased towards different types of philosophical systems, so I don't have a very high opinion of Kantian like deontology or anything like that.
From the brief description of how how so difficult it seems to be to nail down, I can understand that. I just need to ink her, and then the recording / fake stream will be done. And I'll color her off camera, and then post.
The
postest with the mostest.
Ooh, here's a good way to describe it. It's intuition based.
It's like, oh, nobody should have to tell you. You just know.
Yeah, I was trying to think of a good word to describe it. It's intuition based. It's just something that you kind of just know. Which is
extremely unhelpful.
Well, I mean, that's how most people work. Most people intuit what they think is right and wrong.
Oh yeah,
but what that leads to is this, like, if you don't have a fairly strong ethical system, the problem is you run into issues where you have to make a choice, but both choices are wrong. How do you decide?
So you just end up freezing and not making a decision at all, which in itself is a choice, but it's also a problem. I get it. Well, it was like that.
You know, if you rely purely on your intuition, human intuition is actually not that good.
Yeah.
So you might intuit something in the moment as being good, but the decision that you make has really bad consequences further down the line that you didn't account for. And you know, most people would intuitively say that in instances like that, the choice that you make that has the worst outcome is bad, even though not everybody is consequentialist. I would probably define myself as a consequentialist. Really, the thing that is most important to me is outcomes. Like, what is the outcome of your choice? And now you can't perfectly know what the outcome is going to be.
Yeah, but I mean, you can make an educated guess.
It's the criticism that deontologists make for consequentialism. But
yeah,
well, I mean, it's bad. Like trying to just intuit choices is just, I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
No, and I can see why it wouldn't, because honestly, I feel like you said, is, you know, your intuition can lead you to a lot of good conclusions. But the problem is that because everybody's intuition and therefore moral compass is different, if you just left that up to determine, right, it basically would become a situation of, well, it's right because I think it's right.
Well, the problem with human intuition is it's not very good. Like human intuition is actually not very solid. That's part of the reason why we have like ethical systems to begin with. If we were good at just intuiting things, we wouldn't need an ethical system. We could just intuit right from wrong.
Our intuition seems to only really be good at telling us when something is in immediate danger.
Yeah. I mean like the trolley, it's you know the classic trolley problem where it's like which track do you change? Like, do you kill the 3 people or the 1 person? The problem that I have is that a deontologist wouldn't have a consistent answer for this. As a matter of fact, or actually, I'll take that back. The consistent answer would be to take no action.
Yeah, the consistent answer would be, it's such a painful and awful choice to make that I can't make a choice. But
a consequentialist would say that the choice not to take action is a choice in of itself.
Yeah.
And that the purpose of like avoiding to make a choice in that situation is to absolve yourself of any
guilt.
wrongdoing.
Yeah. It's like, oh, well, I'm not the one who ended that person's life. I didn't make the call. It just happened at random.
I mean, if we're talking about, because actually, I know exactly.
Oops.
Actually, no, I don't. I mean, it's complicated. Anyway, the point is Fluttershy is a utilitarian.
I love that is how we got here. That's fantastic to me, that is how we got to this topic. All right. Let's finish inking before the lo-fi puts me to sleep. It's great for streams, but not so good when recording by myself in relative silence. Knocked this one out pretty quickly, though. And I think that is because, ultimately, it kind of just is a horse. But it's a cool horse. A funky horse. So...
It is kind of just a horse with things at it.
Yeah, it's a horse with a lot of decorations. That's why I like cryptids like the Jersey Devil or the Snallygaster, that are just things you can sink your teeth into. Your proverbial teeth. Because it's something interesting. It's not just, it's a bird. Or it was a snake. It's, nah man, it was made up of like all these different pieces of things. Please create a single animal out of these 75 disparate parts. It's like a bat, but it's like a horse, but it's like a goat, but it's got hands, and it flies, but it has a big tail, and it gets caught up in the wires. Same thing with things like the Mothman, too. Like, the original descriptions of the Mothman, even though they called him that, he doesn't look like a moth. It's a big humanoid shape with glowing red eyes that chase the car. But we'll get to that when we get to the Mothman, because he is on this list. The only thing we know about it for sure is that it had a rockin' booty. Its statue tells us so. And Mikey?
This is true.
Someday, we need to visit that town so that we can pat the booty.
We are not that far away from West Virginia.
And then immediately we'll have to put hand sanitizer on our hands because we don't know who else has slapped the booty and what else they've been touching. You don't know where that booty's been.
True. You have to be careful about the booties you slap.
It could have been to space. You don't know. Man, when we get to the Mothman, I have to talk about how there's like a weird extraterrestrial connection in that some guy just abruptly said that there was.
Well, that's the thing about cryptids, right?
Yeah.
It's like a little kid coming up with like the different powers of a superhero.
Yeah.
It's like a situation comes up where it's like a person's like, this probably isn't real actually, and then they're like, oh yeah, but this, and then they have this power, which means that you have a difficulty telling if it's real or not.
Yeah, which actually reminds me of like how early mythology is. If you try to like read an origin myth from a very early society, you'll be sitting there going, what? Huh? A good example, because I had to like write a paper on it back in high school, is I was reading the myth, the Japanese world creation myth, because I didn't know what it was, and I was like, oh, this will be cool. I like anime, because I was in high school.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I was in high school. You can blame my dad. He's the one who brought home all the anime shit all the time. But I started reading it, and I don't know if it was a translation problem or what, but that story contained so many instances of, and then this happened, because that was a thing he could do. And I'm like, wait, what? They're like, and then they put the world on top of a turtle. Because there was a turtle there this whole time. There was. She cried a gem, and it fell into the sea and turned into the ocean, and this other guy clapped his hands and made the land, because that is a thing he could do. That I did not mention until just now. That's actually something that happens all the time in the legend of Gilgamesh and Enkidu, is there's so many instances of, and then he did this, because that was a power he had. And that's how it's phrased, too. Like, I know it sounds like me being sarcastic, but it literally is phrased because he could. Because that was a thing he could do. More or less. For this was an ability he had.
If you read it from the perspective of it's taking the piss out of Gilgamesh.
Kind of. Yeah.
It's very interesting from that perspective.
Ah, man, not only first mythological hero, possibly first story, first gay romance.
Probably the first written story.
Man, there's some real debates about what the first written story was, because we keep finding earlier ones. But yeah, also, probably first gay romance. Because when Enkidu dies, Gilgamesh does not take it well. And he has some very passionate things to say about it.
I'm not saying that Gilgamesh wasn't gay. I'm just saying that getting sad over the death of a friend doesn't mean that you're gay.
That's not what you know. That's not. I meant that
Only gay people have feelings.
Oh my god. I meant that the things he specifically says about it, of like how his heart cannot be in his chest without him, and I think he says something like, you know, about like being closer than lovers or whatever, or like, you know, long to like rest my head upon his breast and blah 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 blah. And I was like, neat. I'll like find excerpts or something in the future next time I feel like talking about it. It is a fascinating story.
Considering that Gilgamesh was known for going around and sleeping with people's wives, that's the case.
I mean, the romance it might be a gay romance between the two of them in the first one, but that doesn't mean that necessarily Gilgamesh was gay. He might have been bi. You don't know.
There's a reason that I think the Epic of Gilgamesh is actually just a piss take
on the hero story in general, and then became the OG hero tale.
No, I don't think it's a piss take on the genre. I think it's a piss take
on the character of Gilgamesh.
It's not just the character. It was based off of the real Gilgamesh.
Oh, that's right. There was an actual guy. I forget that sometimes.
So I think
like right now.
My honest opinion is that it's a piss take. I think it's making fun of Gilgamesh.
Oh, kind of like that one play Shakespeare did, the Henry VIII play, where it's very clear that he's just making fun of the king, and the king was like, "Oh, this is the coolest," and Shakespeare was like, "Yeah, I bet."
Just an idiot.
Yeah. He got away with it because it has a lot of flowery language, like, you know, in his great and wonderful wisdom, for he was so great and so wise. And crap like that, probably. There's gonna be somebody watching this someday who's like an actual literary scholar who is seething because everything I just said is wrong. Please converse with me in the comments.
Hey, man.
No! That's not what I was gonna say! No! I was gonna say, tell me about it in the comments. I'll read it. I read all comments I get.
What are you gonna do?
Respond to them.
Write a mean review?
I didn't mean for them to be, like, mean about it. I mean, if they're mean
Bring
about
it
it.
on.
Oh my god.
Who cares?
You're gonna have a fight with a literary scholar.
Enkidu and Gilgamesh are long dead, bro.
Wait. You think, like... Okay.
I know what you're thinking, and the answer is maybe.
Perhaps. Yeah, my initial thought was, wait, are you thinking that the actual Enkidu and Gilgamesh are going to come into the comments and yell at us for being wrong?
Yeah, that's what I thought you were thinking, so...
That is exactly what I was thinking. Maybe. And this just further proves why we are an excellent couple, because we knew that what the other was thinking. You guessed correctly. And I guessed correctly. Oh my god. Oh, this is one of my favorite brushes. I say apropos of nothing. When you apply a little bit of smoothing to it, it is so nice. It has to have smoothing, because if I remove the smoothing, you can see how badly my hand vibrates. Which probably means I'm holding the pen too tight.
It just means you need a devibrator.
I'm gonna take a long moment to run through in my mind all the things that could possibly be. Including...
It devibrates.
Well, that's what
it's in the name, Alex.
That's what the smoothing tool is for, right?
No, the smoothing tool deals with the consequences of a shaky hand. It doesn't make your hand not shaky.
Right. Well, how would I like, what kind of device is this, and how do I apply it to my hand?
A devibrator. You get a devibrator, and then you apply it to your hand.
See,
and then it won't vibrate anymore.
See, the thing is based on your tone. I don't know if you're serious or not. I don't know if that's an actual thing. And I'm kind of scared to ask. Like, is that something? Is that an actual device that can be acquired?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so. But you were saying it with such confidence.
I mean, it could be.
It is just yet to be invented, I see. It could be someday. Oh my god. See, this is what happens. He's gonna laugh at me now for a while. Quietly, in his head. that I sat here for a minute and had a crisis because I couldn't figure out if he was kidding or not, because he said it so sincerely that I was just like, huh, I see. Oh. People listening to this after the fact will either find it really cute or really obnoxious and annoying. Hopefully we'll be perceived as one of those cute internet couples that people think is great whenever they do cute coupley things. Except of the weird opposite of that. Like those people who got furious when Michael from Rooster Teeth got engaged to that person. What was her name? I forgot her name. It's not important. But he got engaged to her, and then everybody flipped out and sent death threats because it was ruining his potential romance with Gavin. And I'm like, you do know that neither of those people are gay, right? They have zero interest in men. Also, even if that was the case, what is wrong with you? Some people need to, like, go outside and touch grass. I know that we say that as a joke, but there are some people who really do need to go outside. Go outside, look up at the clouds for a little bit. Sit on a bench or a rock and center yourself back in reality in the present moment. Because holy shit. I must now rotate the horse. Oh, by the way, Mikey, you know what's got a new season? Pop Team Epic.
Nice.
Yes. So there's even more bizarre nonsense on its way, and it is still doing the same format of first half and second half are the same thing, but in one they are all voiced by ladies, and in the second one they're all voiced by men.
It's kind of their thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I wasn't sure if they were going to do that or not for a second season. Oh, also Spy Family has a second season right now.
Nice.
Which is nice. I can't wait to see their dog, because I know that they're going to get a dog. It was in the opening credits of the last one. Oh, before I forget, there's something we definitely need to watch at some point, because I have not seen it yet, but I know of it. And that's a Drawfee episode that happened a couple weeks back at this point. But in it, Jacob made a mistake and did not record anybody's.
I saw that one, and he redid the whole thing.
I haven't
copied
seen it.
Their styles exactly.
Wow. Okay, so I definitely need to watch that one then, because I had not seen it yet.
He actually really impressed me because he nailed everyone's style exactly. Like copied their pen movements and everything.
That's really cool, especially
because the finished rendered versions, they fade into them, right? So like they fade his redone pen and ink lines into the final product, and it is a seamless.
That's fucking
fade.
cool.
You can't even tell that it was done in post.
I guess we wouldn't know if he didn't tell us at the beginning of the video, because I know that because I saw that and I was like, huh, I'll save this and we have to watch it later, and then I forgot about it.
Yeah, watch the video and then tell me if you are impressed, because I'm not a visual artist, but I was friggin' impressed.
Oh, I'm sure I'll be impressed. I'm impressed by a lot of the things that they do. Even when I'm frustrated, like I'm consistently very impressed by Julia's work, and then I am frustrated because she doesn't do the brief. They give her a challenge and she's like, nah. Like I sat down and watched the recent one that was like 4 artists in a single pose, and I was right. When it got to Julia's turn, she roughly sketched out the pose and then ignored it completely and did something else. And she's like, nah, I wasn't feeling it. I'm like, no, this is your job. You're not supposed to do this. Julia. If for any other project, you'd be in huge trouble, because you gotta follow the brief. Oh, well. Make these eyes on this skull more cartoony. Just make them big circles. Ooh! The skeleton is very surprised. Did not know this was going to happen to him. He's just on his way back from the tavern. Yes, he was back on his way from the tavern. And he saw a cute little horse. It was weird because it was a blue horse, because I'm probably going to make this horse blue. And he was like, but it's a pretty horse. So he hopped onto it, hoping to ride it home. And it walked off into the ocean, and he was like, what? And then he was dead. The audience claps slowly, and I am booed off stage. Or maybe not. I've had people tell me before that they like when I read nonsense stuff. Like the, like notes and lore things that you get in games and stuff. I had somebody tell me once that I should, I forget which game it was. I think it was when I tried for the first time to do Mass Effect Andromeda, which I need to get back to. I need to, like, redo it, because I know there's a good game in there. It's just I made it to Vault and I couldn't do things anymore. I couldn't. Oh, this is a living nightmare. So, when I play Mass Effect, and I play it with you, Mikey, I have to. You are the Mass Effect guy. I'm sure you will make Hoth more bearable. Hoth? Vold.
Yes.
Hoth would be fine. Hoth would be fun. But we don't go there because that's Star Wars.
If you think Hoth would be fun, then you're free to go to Hoth and SWTOR.
When I have a steady enough income that means that I can toss extra cash and extra time at things.
A coin
yes.
to your Witcher.
When people like my work enough to toss a coin to their Witcher, the Witcher being me. I mean, you know what? I look like I could be a character in The Witcher with this skin on. When I am popular enough that people will toss a coin to this Witcher, I will do SWTOR. And probably go back to Final Fantasy XIV, because I really like that game and I want to play more of it, but it's subscription-based, and I have bills. My dentist appointment was $300. And I have another one tomorrow because my doctor has a cold. So she was not there. Excellent. We have completed the horse. Let me shade it in, and then I can do my classy outro for this hectic thing that I could not do because I had meetings and an appointment, and I couldn't stream. Anyway, look at this baby. Followed by this dancing horse. This creature back here. Amazing. Alright. I'm gonna go color these. We have finally achieved 2 hours. Alright. Everybody watching this in post, I want to thank you. I hope you enjoyed it, despite it being a little wonky. And thank you, Michael, for keeping me company in what would otherwise have been almost 2 hours of just lo-fi, with occasionally hearing me go, huh. Alright, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow on an actual... Ooh, excuse me. On the actual stream, where we will do this properly. Bye-bye!
Bye!
I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of my followers over on Patreon, and give a special shout out to Jack Fox, Old Monster, Dizarin, and Revolution72. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. I'd also like to give a big thank you to everyone else watching. If you enjoyed the video, let me know with a like and a comment. Be sure to have a look at the other videos on my channel, and subscribe so you never miss a new one. Links to my Patreon, Twitch, and all my other socials are in the description below the video. I hope I'll see you next time. Bye bye!